Because initially, remember this with Andrew Tate. They were never going to charge him because all of this was made up. They were never going to charge him because they're keeping him in jail for 6 months to be evil. They're never going to charge him because there's no evidence. Well, now it looks like they are charging him. Oh, well, obviously, they were always going to charge him because they're going to make up the evidence. They were always going to charge him because they're just going to fabricate lies. They were always going to charge him because they're trying to take it. Like, no matter what happens, it's always explained by the conspiracy. The conspiracy makes every prediction. All possible outcomes are predicted, and every possible outcome can be justified by the conspiracy. It's so stupid.
That's the kind of life I'm living now. I'm going to be thinking, oh, okay, so their second attempt failed. Now what? Like, do I want to fly private anymore? Do I want to go that place anymore? You start to think about these things. Like, do I want to do these things? A lot of billionaires dying in plane crashes. It's strange. So it's scary.
Also, this sounds like mean, but like on the grander scale, I don't think anybody actually gives a f about Andrew Tate. Like the types of people that would be trying to get people killed, I don't give a f about Andrew Tate, okay? The people that are your enemies are the blue-haired screeching progressives and college campuses. It's the non-binaries, and it's the people in the media that really hate you. I don't think it's gonna be the type of people that are gonna hire, I don't think Anderson Cooper is hiring a hitman to go after you. I don't think Piers Morgan is trying to get your private plane shot down by the US government, okay? Like, I don't think the types of people that don't like you are that, like, it's such a weird, like, this would be on, like, my level of being like, oh yeah, like, guys, I'm so scared that, like, people are put, actually, considering the communities I pissed off, I might have a higher chance of somebody killing me versus Andrew Tate.
Just have to go with the punches and see where it lands. And God has a plan for me and for all of us, and we're just going to see how it ends up.
Full disclosure, you don't have any thoughts.
I want to make it very clear, and I make it clear on absolutely every single podcast. I don't care what they say. I don't care what video they show you. Never under any circumstance it's haram. Never. I don't care if they put me back in the dungeon, solitary confinement by myself for the rest of my human years. I would never, ever. So if that ever happens, God forbid, do not believe whatever garbage they tell you. The chance of me precisely zero.
And you had this complete level of certainty that this is exactly how it would play out. You've said this on umpteen podcasts that this is their agenda.
They have to damage my influence. They have to damage.
No, remember, this is not how they said it would play out. They said there would be no charges. They said all of this was fake. The defense was constantly leaking things saying the women, the accusers, didn't exist. The two that were on record have already been disproven by the police in the United Kingdom. Charges. This is not exactly how he said it would play out. They said over and over again. They said over and over again that there would be no charges. That was the original start. And I know they'll try to change it, but this is not what was said would always happen.
My influence. They can't sit there and let me be influential because I'm saying things that they don't like me saying. And there are people sitting around going, he's saying things counter to our message and counter to our narrative. Get rid of him. And they have a pretty standardized playbook. And this is probably one of the first times in history where their playbook just isn't working.
Like this standardized playbook for getting rid of, like, you know what, bro? If you want to say that, like, the FBI tried to tell JFK to, or not JFK, I'm sorry, Martin Luther King, well, and JFK to kill him, tried to tell Martin Luther King that, like, fine, sure, I can believe that there was, like, undue spying on people that they thought were communists in the United States and the CIA, the FBI, sure, I can, yeah, okay, fine, sure. Yeah, I can at least understand those conspiracies. I can understand those. But, like, the Matrix, like the president of the United States, countries are ordering hits on you because you've got viral TikToks. Get out of here. Give me a break. Come on.
Cancel him.
I don't know how to do that.
Oh, well, lie about him in the news. Just say he touches chicks. Well, no one believes it. Oh, all the comments are on his side. Everyone's calling us liars. Okay, then do it again. Then do it again. Make up a new girl. Then do it again. Find someone else. Yeah. And they keep attacking me with the same weapons, but the bullets are...
I also want to encourage all of you, and I don't know how many of you are conservatives and don't care about anything I say, but like, here is another thing that I would encourage you for, okay? When Bernie Sanders ran in 2016 and in 2020, he was in the field both times, yes, okay. When Bernie Sanders ran both times, if you were part of the progressive movement at that point, okay, and if you were looking at the primaries, there was a lot of stuff going on in your head about like, okay, you know, he's doing well here, he's not doing so well here, like we don't know what's going on here, like if we look at the math, it's possible he can win here, like if he does well in this debate, he can do here. If you macro out and you're really, really, really boring, if you pull out on a macro level and you compare Bernie to Hillary and you compare Bernie to Joe Biden, if you pull out on a big macro level and you look at what's going on, the story was actually pretty basic and pretty straightforward the whole time. The most popular candidates were ahead in the polls most of the time, and they won the nomination. It was pretty boring, and it was actually pretty like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. You kind of got to do a lot of mental mind to try to convince yourself otherwise. And I would say, and I know this triggers some people, if you look at Andrew Tate, okay, is there some huge Matrix conspiracy, blah, blah, blah? I mean, like, I guess I'm not going to say anything is impossible, but like, if it came out that Andrew Tate did traffic those girls for his webcam business or whatever, like, yeah, everything kind of lines up and makes sense. That wouldn't be like the hardest thing in the world to believe. It seems like it actually kind of makes perfect sense for everything that's happened. That's not like the guy that sold a course online for how to traffic women, and then the guy that made all of his money doing cam girls when he said he was dating all 50 of those women that he flew from around the world that didn't have a history. Yeah, it's actually not that crazy at all that that guy would be a sex trafficker. That it actually kind of makes complete sense that that guy would be a sex trafficker, you know? I'm just saying, but I know that offends some people, but who knows? We'll see where we're at in a year or two.
Bouncing off. And that doesn't give me a sense of calm. That doesn't make me think, ha ha ha, I'm invincible. It makes me think, uh-oh. It makes me think, uh-oh, because human life is cheap at the top. It's very cheap.
Does it make you want to sit on the sidelines and be quiet and just kind of live a life with your family, your kids? Does it make you want to do that? Maybe all these attention is actually not a good thing.
It's interesting because sometimes I analyze myself and think, why don't I just do that? Why don't I just disappear?
'Cause I'm a warrior.
You know, I don't need money. I don't need fame. Why don't I just disappear? And then you have to, I was saying this to my brother, and he was like, well, Genghis Khan didn't need Vienna. Some people are just wired that way. Like, Vienna's a long way from Kathmandu. Sometimes it's just the way it is, or Ulaanbaatar, I apologize to capital of Mongolia. That's just the way some people are. If I see injustice, and if I see things which I believe to be false, I feel like I am obligated to say the truth. I can't explain why, even if at my own detriment. What am I doing this for? Like, it's to the detriment of my life. And I've had these conversations at length with the people close to me, and we're all saying the same thing. It's always been the same way. Humanity's always been the same way. There's been a select, small, few good men up against evil, and evil always outnumbers you. Evil always has more money than you. They always have more power and more influence than you. If you play any video game, when you get to the end boss, he always has more life than you. He always has more hit points, but you're the good guy. And it's kind of like, it's never been any different. At any point in human history, there's been the good guys up against the forces of evil, whatever they were of the time, and you've always been outnumbered, and you've always been supposed to lose.
So you consider yourself the good guy in this situation?
I think that truth is instilled by God in all of us, and I think if you tell the truth, you're a good person.
So who do you think is the bad guy? You know, everyone uses they, them, they're after me. Who's they? Who's the bad guy?
Well, instead of saying who, I will say, what I will start by saying is what they do. And what they do is they control information.
I appreciate that, Destiny.
All right, bye. Remember to hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell so that my videos show up right in your feed.